How the Bismarck was sunk. The rain came down like knives, slashing at the North Atlantic. The sea churned violently under the storm's fury, and yet, deep within the cold metal hull of the Bismarck, silence reigned. Commander Otto Lang stood by the navigation table, hands clasped behind his back, eyes fixed on the map. He was a stoic man, weathered by war, feared by many, respected by all. "We've shaken them off," said Lieutenant Kruger, trying to mask the tremor in his voice. "There's no sign of the British." Otto didn't speak immediately. He had been in the Kriegsmarine long enough to know better. "They're there," he muttered. "They won't let us reach France. Not after the Hood." A grim silence followed. Just days earlier, Bismarck had blown HMS Hood sky-high, the pride of the British fleet torn apart in minutes. Revenge was inevitable. In a small cabin a few decks below, young Ensign Emil Weber sat at a metal desk, pen trembling as he scribbled in his journal. His handwriting, usually elegant, looked jagged, like the waves outside. "We are being hunted. Every creak of the ship feels like a whisper of death. Commander Lang tells us to be proud, but I see the ghost of Hood in the fog." Far to the west, in a cramped radar room aboard HMS Sheffield, Lieutenant Commander John Talbot studied the glowing blips on the screen. A tall man with sunken eyes, John hadn't slept in 48 hours. "There," he whispered, pointing to a new signal. "That's her. She's trying to reach Brest." Captain Vian leaned over his shoulder. "How sure are you?" John turned, his voice low and haunted. "I lost my brother on the Hood. I've studied her movement patterns every day since. That's Bismarck. I'd stake my life on it." Captain Vian nodded once. "Then we begin the chase." Back aboard Bismarck, Otto Lang peered through his periscope. The horizon was thick with fog. Every shadow looked like a warship. Every silence felt loaded with torpedoes. "Still no visual?" he asked. "Nothing but mist, sir," Kruger replied. "We may reach the air cover of Brest by dawn." Otto glanced at the portrait of his wife tucked into the corner of the instrument panel. "Dawn," he repeated. "We just need to survive the night." The British destroyers came like wolves. Fast, silent, and relentless. Torpedoes sliced through the water. The Bismarck heaved violently. Alarms wailed. Lights flickered. Otto was thrown against the bulkhead. "Damage report." "Rudders jammed." Kruger shouted. "We're turning in circles." Otto paled. "No, they'll surround us." Below deck, Emil clung to a pipe, his journal clutched to his chest. Around him, sailors screamed. Fire lit up the narrow hallways. For the first time, he smelled fear, not in the smoke, but in the breath of every man. By dawn, the British fleet had arrived. HMS King George V, HMS Rodney, and a half-dozen cruisers and destroyers. Steel Titans, closing in for the kill. Otto stood on the bridge, straightening his coat. Blood trickled down his temple. "If this is the end, then let it be worthy of the ship." Kruger's voice cracked. "Sir, we should abandon." "No," Otto barked. "This ship is my command. I go down with her." The British guns roared. Shells rained down, hammering the Bismarck. The bridge was ripped open. Metal shrieked. Men were torn from the decks like leaves in a gale. Otto, miraculously alive, crawled to the broken helm, his fingers bloodied and raw. Below, Emil climbed from the smoke-filled lower deck. The world was red and black and screaming. He found Otto slumped by the helm. "Sir, we have to go. We have to abandon ship." Otto looked at the boy. For the first time, the mask cracked. "She was unsinkable," he murmured. "But they hunted us, like ghosts in the fog." Emil grabbed his arm. "Please, Commander, for your wife." That broke something in Otto. He looked at the locket in his pocket, then at the fire consuming the steel walls of his legacy. Nodding, he allowed the boy to lift him. Bismarck was a carcass. Still afloat, but barely. Her guns were silent. Her soul extinguished. HMS Dorsetshire launched torpedoes to finish the job. In the water, Emil and Otto clung to floating debris. Oil coated their skin. Dead men bobbed around them. They'll never let us tell this story, Otto said, coughing. They don't have to, Emil replied, gripping his journal tight under his coat. I've already written it. Otto smiled faintly. Then tell them we fought like wolves. 2 months later, in a dusty naval office in London, Lieutenant Commander John Talbot sat alone, a file on his desk. Inside was a leather-bound journal, soaked and stained by salt. A German sailor had been rescued, only one of 115 survivors, and insisted the book be delivered to someone who hunted the Bismarck. Talbot opened the cover. On the first page, in elegant, blood-smeared ink, was a single line. I watched giants fall. He read every page, heart-pounding. It was all there. The fear, the pride, the doom. And on the final page, they may have sunk our ship, but not our souls. Bismarck was more than metal. She was men. She was legend. And now she is memory. Talbot closed the journal slowly, and for the first time since the Hood, he wept. And